Hello and welcome to Texans Talk Money. I'm Kyla, your host and a peer financial coach at Texan Smart. Every episode, we will be joined by another peer financial coach from my office, where we will be navigating all the roads on how to handle your money as a college student. So sit back and get your wallets ready to be Texan Smart. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Texans Talk Money. This is Kyla, and today we are going to be diving into how to create a budget. Today, I am here with Kez. Kez, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys, so I'm Kez. I'm a PFC here at Texan Smart. I am a sophomore. I'm a marketing major with a minor in digital media.
Ooh, fun. So what brought you to Texan Smart? Why are you a PFC?
If we're being honest, I need help with my finances anyways. Just like you, just like anybody else, I think finances is a really hard subject to grab the concept to. And the more you learn, the more you can teach.
That's really good. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of what this episode is all about today. We are going to be talking about why it's hard to stick to a budget, how to get one started, and a few tips and tricks to help you stick to that budget. So, Kez, why do you think it's hard for people to stick to a budget? I find it kind of a daunting task, like looking at all this money, or not really all that money, and trying to divide up how to use it and not go broke.
I think it's really hard for anybody, not just college students, to control their want to spend. If you're baited into going out, spending money, shopping, me personally, I love shopping.
Who doesn't?
So if I get invited to go to the mall, best believe I'm trying to pop a tag, okay? So budgeting is really hard, and it's really compelling, when you're given those opportunities by friends and family and whatnot. In high school, many of us really weren't worried about budgeting. Everybody was just living life. Everybody wanted to graduate, get ready to start college, and now that we're starting college, it's like, oh, shoot, I need money, and it's hard.
Yep, I totally agree with that. I've done a little bit of research and I found a financial coach. His name is Tim Jordan, and he says that a problem that a lot of us have are the mental barriers that we put up for ourselves, telling us that we can't do this because it's scary, or I'm never going to be able to get into budgeting, or I feel so defeated when I do this. But those mental barriers are really strong if you don't fight against them. If we don't tear down those walls, you'll never get to do what you want.
Right, I totally agree with you there. It's really a hard task, and it's really hard to continue once you start. But once you get it in your mind, and you need that mental preparation, you need to drill it in your head that this is a skill for everybody to use. No matter if you're already an established adult financially, or if you're just starting out as a college student, or even in high school. If you're passionate about it, you kind of need to develop that and just keep doing it.
Definitely. So let's get into how to set up a budget. So I feel like there's a few steps that you can take whenever you're creating a budget. I think one of the first two things you need to think about is what money are you getting and what money are you spending?
Exactly. I'm going to have to agree with you there. The first thing you need to make sure is how much income you're getting, whether that is a gross income from a job or if it's money just given to you from a relative or a friend. You need to know how to select your categories and select your money, how your money goes where. So the first thing I feel like you would need to do is you need to list out all mandatory deductions, whether that be your bills, your rent, subscriptions, a car note, utilities, groceries. Those are everything that you need. Then you need to figure out what are things that you can stop spending your money on for the time being. You don't need to go to McDonald's every day. You can substitute, you can meal prep, you can invest your money somewhere else.
So another thing you can do to start helping yourself set up a budget is track your spending. So a way that I did it whenever I was first starting out my budget was track the last 3 months of my spending. I could do this on the bank app that I have, and I could look back at the past 3 months that I spent money. I would divide all of my purchases up into categories, and if I had the receipt, I might divide each item up into that category if I was being really picky. Mm-hmm. But that just helps me figure out where my money's going. I can average it out so I can give myself a baseline to start from whenever I'm creating my budget. This is something I still do. If I'm making a budget for a new month, I look at my last month and I figure out, did I overspend here? Did I underspend here? Did I want to spend more here? But you know what I mean? Those are just things that I have to be very conscientious about. And I think most people should be very conscientious about when they're planning their budget.
Right, I have to agree with you there. See, I wasn't really as tedious as far as the receipt things, but my dad was on the horn with me because he is over my bank account, so he can see how much is going where.
Yep.
And I do have a little trick. So if you download the Mint app or the Good Budget app and you track every time that you swipe your card, it will show you with little colorful illustrations. It can show you a pie chart and things of that nature to show you where you're spending your money and where you can maintain your money.
Ooh, that sounds really nice. I think I'll have to check that out whenever we're finished here today. So I think after you've set it up, you've figured out how much money you're spending, how much you're going to average it out, we need to make some set goals here. Don't you agree?
Right.
So these aren't just going to be like simple goals like, I just want to save money. I don't know, I just want to spend money here, don't want to spend money there. We want some concrete goals. Maybe something you're saving towards, like a new car, a new phone, a trip to Disneyland, something like that to keep you on your budget and make you think whenever you're going out, do I want to spend this money at TJ Maxx or do I want to keep this money and go to Disney World in the summertime?
Exactly. You definitely need to know what's a better investment. Going back to the little grocery thing and meal prepping, do I want to sit up here and swipe it at Sonic? Do I want to go get a 4 for $4? Do I want a biggie bag? Or can I just go get some lunch meat and make sandwiches? It might not sound like the best option, but you're saving money in the long run. If you want that iPad, save for that iPad. But sometimes unexpected things happen in our budget where sometimes we need to pull more money into a certain category. So say if something happened to your car and this is an unexpected expense. So now you have to adjust to your original plan and you need to find out how to weigh your options here and what's more important.
That's a great point. Adjusting your budget is something that you should maybe not be doing constantly, but you should be doing it every so often if you have something come up in your budget. And reviewing it, I review my budget like maybe 2 to 3 days, every 2 to 3 days, something like that. So I know where I'm at. I can track what I've spent, what I haven't spent, things like that.
I think that's a good plan. I track mine every paycheck, so I check mine every 2 weeks. I try not to spend. As someone who's just now starting out in budgeting, I can say I improved a lot from where I was last year. I'm trying to be more financially smart. And I'm trying to make sure that I keep an eye on it and make sure that I have an open mind of, okay, one day this can happen. So I need to make sure my savings account has money. I need to make sure that the money that I put aside for my needs most definitely have enough money to stretch.
That's really good. So what other tips do you have for making your budget last longer or to stick to your budget?
A tip that I have to stick to your budget, I love a sticky note. I love little Post-its, whether that be virtual, that I make them on my laptop, on my phone, or that I just go the old-fashioned way and write it and put it on my bathroom mirror. I mean, I look at it every day, so why not?
Yeah, that's a great place to put it.
And I also make little reminders on my phone for every payday. So whenever my first alarm goes off for my first class, it says, oh, payday. Don't forget to budget. Do not swipe the card yet.
Ooh, that's really smart.
I most definitely have to have a continuous reminder because knowing me, I need all the help that I can get, honestly.
Something that I really stick to is, or not really stick to, but use is the 50-30-20 rule. This is a rule that helps you just balance out your budget better. So 50% of your income would go towards your wants, like paying your rent, your car payment, your groceries, things like that. 30% of your money would go towards your wants, entertainment, eating out, buying the things that you want or that are in your Amazon cart still that have been there for a month. And then 20% of your income would go to your savings. I use this whenever I plan it out. I don't stick to it per se. I like using it to get a guideline or a base down, and then I adjust my money accordingly to how I would use it.
Right. The 50-30-20 rule, I can say that I kind of do that, but I have to adjust because I know that sometimes the numbers can freak you out and you're like, oh, I'm not going to have any money left over. But if you continuously do it and you condition yourself, then you can always adjust the numbers. I know a lot of people would rather see in their checking account the full check rather than seeing nothing and your savings have all this money and you're really tempted to dip in there. But once you get a solid budget going, it's going to be like second nature to you to keep budgeting because you want to make sure that you're going to be a well-established adult.
Yes, I totally agree. Another point that I didn't really come up with it, but I found it on YouTube, and forgive me, I don't remember who said it, but I thought this was a great tip. Have buffer dollars in your budget. This is money that you don't plan on spending, but it's there if you need to spend it. Just having that little gap of maybe 30 or 50 or however much you think you might need, having that there to use in case you need it is such a great thing. I budgeted out within my needs just because it seems like something that you might need at some point. I use $30. I tap into it every once in a while, but I don't use it that much.
I have something going on kind of like that. I'm really more of I would rather swipe my card person, but I know sometimes cash would be a lifesaver. Sometimes, things happen, say if your card gets stolen or if it gets cut off and you budgeted all your money out of your account, so now there's no money. If you get like a little clear folder and, you put like a little pretty label on it, like this is restaurant money, this is your fun money, this is money for your car. Sometimes that can really save you. You can always deposit cash into your account and it will just be a good lifesaver. I know it's not really convenient to some people, don't want to pull it out their purse or their wallet and then wait for the cashier to hand your change back, but it's a good idea to have in your head.
I totally agree. Do you have any other tips that our listeners could use?
I would say vocalize your plan of budgeting because a lot of people know that when you write things on a piece of paper, it'll stick to your head more. If you say things, it'll stick to your head more. You have to really mentally condition yourself. And just because you do it for a couple weeks and you think you got it down, and sometimes you lose track of that and you're like, okay, I have a good budget for now. Now I really want to go spend money. You have to just learn ways to continue to keep going. And I would say another tip is please use your college benefits. A lot of people, which shocked me, don't know that if you just log into, say, Hulu, for example, offers students $1.99 a month instead of $7.99 a month. Yeah. And all you have to do is sign up with your school email, or Amazon Prime is free and things like that. And so I would tap into @unidays.com. That's unidays.com. You put your school email in and they're going to pull up every company that has a deal for college students. So you're saving money everywhere.
Okay, that's something I didn't know, but I'm so glad you brought that up because that just sounds great. That makes me think of, I know Spotify has their student plans. I've been looking at it for a little bit, but I haven't really dove into it yet.
Exactly. And make sure you keep your student ID card on you at all times. I know the other month I was in Kate Spade and I really wanted something and she goes, we have a student discount. Most people won't even say that. You can always ask and you just need proof of that you're a college student. So if you pull that student ID out, I know a couple local shops here in Stephenville, like the nail shops, have a lot of discounts for students. Keep that on you like you would keep your driver's license on you, because you never know what company you'll run into and they have a deal for students, and you can pull that out, get 10 to 15% off on your items and purchases.
That's really great. I'm kind of leaning back on something you said earlier about dividing your money into those clear plastic folders.
Right.
Another thing I've seen on TikTok, I've seen like a lot of waitresses, people who like get tips. They get their money and they divide it up into one between $100 and like these envelopes. So all of the envelopes are labeled 1 to 100, and you randomly pick one out and you put that amount of money in there. And by the end of the year or however long you're doing it, you have a good chunk of money saved up from that, and it's just sitting there.
There's definitely more creative ways out there to budget. A lot of people just think it could be a bunch of paperwork. A lot of people are exposed to the idea that you can track it on a document or an Excel sheet. That might be pretty boring, but you can get creative. You can do the clear plastic bags, you can put them in colorful folders, you can make little cash wallets. You can pretty much do anything that you'll feel comfortable to that'll encourage you to continue doing what you're doing.
I know one of my friends, she started out this year, she got this financial planning book, and oh my gosh, this thing looks, I'm going to say fun. It looks so much fun to use. There's these different envelopes in there that you can save cash in. There's like monthly planning in there. It divides everything up. It's super colorful if you're a person who loves color. I know it's helped her a lot in budgeting. Right. I personally use just a college ruled notebook and write it down, and that's how I track it because I like tracking things on paper. I know for our office, whenever we have students come in and want to create a budget, we have a set up spreadsheet for them that we just type their numbers into for whatever expenses or income they have, and that's how we figure it out for them. There's so many different ways that you can track your budget. It's not like a one and done deal. You can do so many things.
All right. I might need to talk to your friend about that book because I'm more of a creative artsy person, and I know everybody is different. So just find the method that's best for you. As long as you can get the ball rolling and can make it continue to roll, I'd say do whatever attracts you, but make sure you're doing the right thing and you're consistent. Consistency is going to be key with this.
I totally agree, Kez. And you know what? I think this has been a great episode, a great talking time for us. And so I just want to thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Giving us all this great knowledge. And thank you, listeners, for coming and listening to more financial well-being tips. And I'll talk to you all in the next episode. And don't forget, be well, be ready, be Texan Smart.
Texans Talk Money is produced by Randon Guidry in partnership with the Tarleton Radio Network. To learn more about Texans Talk Money, click the link in the description to find our social media and website. For more Tarleton podcasts, subscribe to Tarleton Radio Network wherever you get podcasts.